I've been chosen? Whoa. We have to say the end. You can find out empty reviews, then you must awaken the monster from the pit. I have gained you my assistance. Right. Now! Alright! Quick on! Fire off! Let's go! Jerry's betraying all Logan. Huh? Look out!
Hello everybody, I am here in the library for this episode of Empty Film Reviews. I have the trans rights letter. You can't really read it blocking the Harry Potter because fuck that bitch, the Andrew Tate for women, in a lot of ways. Just have to start the video off with some of that, because it's just goofy as hell, the world we be living in these days. But we do live in an interesting world, because I would not have predicted, I can see why things are this way, but I would not have initially predicted that we'd be talking about a original blockbuster, an entirely original blockbuster that merely is a movie. That is the whole experience. It is the movie itself, and that is a lot of why it's grappling with people so much, because the market has been giving everyone just non-stop endless slop content. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Sinners. Everyone is watching Ryan Coogler's Sinners, and I'm glad that they are, because Ryan is a great director, ultimately, I feel. He was eaten up by the machine a bit with Marvel, but Black Panther was always one of the most interesting characters in those movies because he was played by Chadwick, and Coogler has a very human sense of direction. He's super empathetic in his films. Fruitvale Station is one of the great directorial debuts, in my opinion. And Michael B. Jordan is in all of his movies and always fucking kills it. So, anytime someone has a chance to play two roles in one movie, they're usually doing some of their best work. It is hard to top the performances of Fruitvale and Creed, but he is quite amazing in this film. He's and then in Black Panther he's only really like the villain, so he doesn't get to have that main focus as much in that movie. Deservedly so. I do think this movie is great, but I wanted to tune in because I wanted to talk about a little phenomena with modern movies, that seems to have been birthed, not because of this movie, but, it is because of just the current market. A lot of people are seeing this movie, and I think that's great. They should. But a lot of people are kind of referring to this as a modern-day masterpiece already. It's been out for like a week and a half. And listen, it's great that people are going to the theaters to see this, especially going to the theaters to see this instead of fucking Dick and Jackie. But even everyone's already seen that in the theater, so, here's the phenomenon, right? People are instantly kind of patting themselves on the back, like, look at me, I finally saw an original movie, even though everyone has fucking seen Minecraft now. Everyone saw Mario. Everyone saw the Emoji Movie. Everyone's seen fucking Star Wars 8000. Everyone's going to the fucking Revenge of the Sith screenings, right? It's like, people love slop, and they're constantly engaging with it all the time. But there is going to be, people are going to be using Sinners essentially as like a get out of jail free card for What do you mean? We're not actively supporting slop. We saw one movie that has big A-list stars and is by an A-list director, and we only had interest in because it's coming off the back of 2 superhero movies. But we saw an original movie in the theaters. So it's people are almost getting it, essentially. But, again, I just can't really take seriously. Everyone's like, the movie theaters are back, original movies are back, when everyone just gave the green light to 12 other Minecraft movies by seeing it, in swaths as soon as it came out. At least Morbius got to fail, and that's why it was so fun as a meme. Minecraft, was actually successful, and the industry doesn't care if people think it's a fucking meme. They're gonna make 12 million more of these, and everyone's gonna go see it and pretend they're all good. So, ultimately, a lot of people are calling this great because Minecraft and Mario is the only shit they've ever... But a lot of people are calling this, the best thing ever because they only engage with movies like Minecraft and fucking the Mario movie, so essentially, because people's gauge of movies in general, I mean, we're talking about a generation of people that practically, since they've been going to the movies, the first movies they can remember are like Iron Man, so their perception of cinema is just Marvel and Star Wars, and then IPs, so people go to the movies and see something mildly original and a concept that isn't based off anything else, it's not shot like a flat fucking Netflix show, and the acting is generally pretty great across the board, and because of that, because there's a great across the board movie with a middle sequence that I would say is one of the best sequences of a film within the last year, so I can definitely agree with that. And the film is a genuine love letter to black culture in such a beautiful way. The genre blending, there is great merit to this. I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying I wish people watched more movies and didn't support the slop, because in a good world, this would be a more regular occurrence, movies like Sinners. It would be that would be the standard. It should be the standard. Okay? But, people have settled for the worst. They genuinely have. Most people have. Most people who talk about media literacy being dead are the people also standing Revenge of the Sith, because this is their entire view of movies. So, my suggestion to everyone is, please just watch more movies, just support more movies. Everything Everywhere All at Once almost got the Sinners treatment, and I really think it should have. It wasn't financially big enough to be talked about this way immediately, but once people saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, it became a hit. So again, this is the one time people have supported an original movie in God knows how long. And I don't think you should be patting yourselves on the back for it when all you watch is fucking Minecraft. I'm sorry. But it is a good movie, though. It is genuinely a great movie. And the musicianship, the whole musical aspect, all of that going into it was easily my favorite part. Just because of how much I love the blues and everything. And, that middle sequence was just so surprising and stunning. Obviously, I would love that. Brilliant stuff in that sequence, and B. Jordan again is great. There's genuinely great things about it. However, oh, look at me! I've teleported into a Dutch cut. Yes, I've kind of clickbaited you a little bit. My flaws with Sinners are not that big. I just think the sound effects, the horror sound effect, really every horror scene would work so much better if they just took those goofy Blumhouse ass sound effects out. The people call this a horror movie, and it is a rated R film because there's a lot of blood and some great erotic scenes, but because you know that you genuinely feel the love and the passion in those scenes, but the horror angle, there was really only one scene that worked, and it was because it was the one scene that had no such music or like, you know, kind of bullshit. And it was the scene where Haley gets turned in the film, and you don't even see it, and yet the impact of that moment, the way the whole scene is illustrated, that whole scene is great. I love how it's executed. It just, yeah, you know, it's it's the type of thing where this movie is not like a wholly flawed movie or anything like that. I do think it is great. It just, I'm here to make the plea that from now on, everyone, please try more often to support a movie like Sinners, a movie like Everything Everywhere, or else, you know, we're not going to have them much longer, especially since the fucking Corpo train ain't stopping anytime soon. And I mean, this film, you know, as I've mentioned, the creator behind it and the people in this movie, you know, it's not like it appeared out of thin air. This is very much a blockbuster in that it is big, you know, Everything Everywhere. It has big people in it, but a lot of those actors have kind of been rejuvenated, like Kay, because of that movie, you know, garnering a cult following. But even then, when the movie Everything Everywhere initially came out, it was like, oh, what's that weird movie in the corner, you know? So yeah, I just wish people were more willing to go support these kinds of films, and then yeah, you know, so the horror angle doesn't really work for me too well. I know I'm bouncing all over the place with this one, but you know, we keep it casual here on the Angsty Film Reviews channel, but you know, I feel in general there's not necessarily any one scene I would take out, but just a little tighter around the edges execution of the edit of the like first act. I definitely think it could be slightly tightened. You know, I did love a good bit of things that happened in the first act, mainly the placing a gangster in a western shootout was very fun. With Stack and the truck, or Smoke, I believe, in the truck. Maybe I already confused them. Even though I do genuinely enjoy those leads, they are very memorable to me. I've not been mixing their names up despite me doing that anytime I've talked about this film, because I went and saw it with my brother, and this is a brother's movie, so you know, it really hit on that level for me, being there with my brother. And then you have you know, I just have spoken about it. I mean, you know, plenty of people are seeing it now, so there are the conversations I've been having with people have, you know, been happening frequently with this film, and this is something that I am glad people, you know, if the rest of the horizon is fucking Minecraft, then I am glad that this is the movie people are going to see and enjoy. I genuinely am. Yeah, no, I really loved... I mentioned that the musical aspect was definitely, arguably, my favorite thing, but I was not expecting how critical this film was of not just Christianity as a religion, as a doctrine-enforcing cult, not necessarily people's beliefs in spirituality. I thought that was fucking awesome, the way to tax that, especially with how Christianity was forced onto Black Americans. So, you know, it is, I love that a movie, and again, a movie that's doing this well in America has a big message like that especially with our current fucking stupid ass political state, like, yeah, I'm all for supporting a movie that has that kind of bite to it. You know, it may not be what the whole movie is about, but the movie is about a lot of things, and I love that that is one of them. And at the same time, it also has a very fun kind of satire, historical satire on how the KKK was treated in the era of Jim Crow, where they were still fucking rampant. I mean, they're still rampant today. They just have a different name now. But the Klan at that period, you know, they literally would, people in average everyday society, I'm sure a lot of enlightened centrists as well who didn't want to get involved, you know, would be like, oh, the KKK, what are you talking about? That's not real. Like, literally talking about it like mythology, like vampires. Like, oh, that's not even, what are you talking about? And I just loved that it was not anything that the film banged over your head, that dichotomy, if I must say, because every film nerd has to use the word dichotomy, it was just there. Like, it was not something they were punching you in the face with, but I just, was personally able to make that connection fairly easily toward the beginning, since I knew going in that it was going to be a vampire film. And once that first fucking obvious Klan, but pretending not to be a Klan dickhead, was like, what, the KKK aren't real? I was like, oh, that's the way, and especially the way he was saying it and everything, and his specific phraseology, it just, it amplifies how fucking gaslighty a lot of white culture can be, to, literally, pretend like what you're seeing right in front of you is a ghost story. And, very wise of them to also start of course, all the vampires start as white people, naturally, and then they come and parasitically suck away at everyone. One of my favorite things about this film as well is in terms of the vampires, I think they were characterized beautifully, because they were succumbed to the instinct of what being the animal of a vampire would be like. But it wasn't, they were antagonists, but they were not villains. I mean, there's the one specific vampire that literally is like Satan or whatever, but all of our leads who get turned into vampires, they very beautifully display that they genuinely, they're not trying to just entice everyone with these wishes, sincere wishes that they want to live with everyone forever, in this kind of, this powerful life of being a vampire. They show this beautifully in the moment where Haley Steinfeld watches someone die in the film. I'll try to keep it vague. I've said that people turn. It's a vampire movie. You have to expect some people to turn. But one character pleads that if they are to be, and the only reason why I've named Haley to someone who's been turned is it's been in every fucking picture of the movie. I knew that she turned before I even went to see the film, which I think did kind of take away the effect of the suspense beforehand, but her scene when it happened was so good that it was kind of alright. It kind of balanced out, but I do wish I didn't know that she got turned, and I guess I'm sorry if I inadvertently ruined that for other people, but a lot of people were seeing this, so maybe you, and I mean, also a lot of people were posting that the pictures of her as a vampire, so maybe it was already ruined for you, maybe you saw it and you didn't know. I'm sorry, I don't I don't know what to tell you. But a character pleads, if I get bitten, don't let me turn, kill me. The person that agreed to do this kills them, and the vampires, especially Haley, they let this be a great moment for her in particular, because this was a character that she loved as well. These are all people that are close to one another. So seeing her actually die, she reacts like she would, even though she's a vampire. No, she really did want this woman to reach eternal life and come with her. And she's devastated when it doesn't get to happen. I love that, now spoilers, but in terms of, well, it's just subtle spoilers, I won't fully explain, but in terms of what they do at the end with a sort of very classic kind of vampire story about, the bonds they can hold, especially as they get older, when they're less rambunctious with their hunger, and they are methodical wanderers. There's people they're willing to make bargains over. There's people they're willing to completely spare and let go to Valhalla if they so choose. And I just thought it was beautiful. And the whole orchestration of the ending was fucking fantastic. If you leave as soon as the credits start, you miss the end of the film. This is one of the best mid-credits scenes I've seen in a theater, for sure. There's plenty of films throughout time that have sort of interjected the film into their credits, or vice versa, or you have someone like Gaspar Noé, who every movie he does, something crazy is happening with the credits, as well as when and where they're placed in the film, and how they are placed into the film. It again just brought the whole musical love letter and just cultural love letter thing around, as well as the sincerity of the characters really came full circle in the end, and I thought it was beautiful. A lot of stuff that I thought was genuinely great. Again, there's some aspects of it that were hokey that took it down for me. It's a little long. It'll be a bit of time before I rewatch it again. And it mainly is that first act, because everything else is a joyride. Pretty much as soon as they're in that, in the bar, I guess, it's pretty. But even then, I did really love when the film first started. It was super calm, just because it felt like kind of the most, I don't want to keep using the word methodical, but it did feel like one of the more mature, even though Fruitvale is definitely still Ryan's most mature film in total, there was something about the filmmaking of the beginning of this movie, the very, very beginning, when things were still very quiet. I guess not the intro sequence, because that had a lot of goofy sound effect. When the film first started, the first minute, I was like, oh no, what's happening? Because I feel like most times in films, when we do a starting at the end, it rarely ever works for me. I did just mention Gaspar Noé. I rewatched Climax recently. That film, it did a fun version of it, but it's such a brief little thing. It's not put as heavy of a focus on. And the very, very beginning of the film takes itself so seriously in a way that you can't really grapple to when you're first watching it, I personally feel, because you just haven't been with these characters on this journey yet, and so many movies have done this thing. Oh, we're starting at the end? What do you think happened? So it's hard for me for that angle to even grab me, especially when, again, every shot has a fucking sound effect. Oh yes, and the final action scene, really a decent bit of the final act was too dark, not tone-wise. Again, the horror to me was very much not scary. The literal, like, I couldn't see a little bit, toward the end. It did not look as great as I'd say the vast majority of the film does, which is weird. It seemed, this guy did make Creed. He does know how to shoot practical action on some level. And I still thought the finale action bit was a lot of fun. But it was there's just things like this. The problems and gripes are not huge. But they are there. It's not a perfect masterpiece, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean Ryan doesn't still have it in him. I'd love to see what he does next. I heard like an X-Files movie is down the road for him, which is interesting. I've needed more of an excuse to get into X-Files, and I especially like the first couple of seasons and the films have my interest. Or I don't know, maybe there's only a couple seasons. I don't fucking know. I thought that's one of those shows where there's like 8 seasons, but I don't even know. Anyway, I believe I have spoken my piece on this film. I do think it is very, very good, if not great. I would give it the highest of 7s, if not to a solid 8, which is pretty much where I sit with it. Upon rewatch, that will solidify itself a little more. I'm sure it will be in my favorite films of this year, 2025, whenever I get to that video, since I still haven't even done the sequel video to the 2022 vid, but we'll get to that. I am building up to the 2023 video right now, but I have to restrain myself a little bit, because the point of my best ofs is they're not even best ofs. It's not just to see every movie. I want to see as many as I can of each year, and then just highlight a lot of movies that I thought were great, and then a lot of movies that got talk in the indie traction that I want to suggest. Maybe I haven't seen them yet, but that was essentially the gist of the video. 2022 is actually a great year for film, because it was, and so was 2023, and so was 2024, and I think this year is looking great too, and I hope people keep supporting the films made by the smaller filmmakers. Luca Guadagnino's got another film out. A good bit of people saw Challengers, but not really many, and Queer pretty much went right under the radar, even though I thought it was great. Ari Aster's coming back, I hope people show up for that one. Trey Edward Schultz is about to drop his new film. People will probably see that one because it has Jenna Ortega and The Weeknd in it. Still, people might not see it because it's weird or whatever. I don't know. I mean, The Weeknd did make that goofy-ass show, so that does harm things. But Trey Edward Schultz is great. Waves is awesome. I loved that film. So we'll see. We will see. I know there's other... the Safdies... One of the Safdies has hopefully has a film coming out this year. Park Chan-wook, I believe, has got his... The Axe is coming out this year. So we'll see what's on the horizon, and I hope you all watch a lot of movies. If you have HBO Max, I think that's a great spot, especially for entry people. Into film, there's a lot of good movies on there of all kinds. Classic action, classic adventure. You have your biggins like The Godfather and 2001s, but you're not too deep down the rabbit hole yet. But if you are kind of a film school level film buff, you've seen like the entry level greats, please get the Criterion Collection, and then from then on, then it's Trails Blazing after that. Just if you really want to see what the whole world has to offer, not just this stupid ass country, please, just watch more movies. If everyone's gonna pretend that they support original movies, then actually fucking support original movies. Please, alright? I love you. Take care.
In the frame, and the world's kinda lame. It's barely my desk, not even on your phone at 4 to 3 a.m. When he's getting close then, and it may not be great. When you know your love is empty, such a city today that